After a year or so of waiting, we now have the Masters of the Universe Origin Snake Mountain playset. It is big, it is wondrous, and it is amazing. I mean, seriously, this thing's massive. Released in 1984, Snake Mountain was the evil counterpart to Castle Grayskull in the Masters of the Universe toy line. While it proudly sits alongside the other great bad guy playsets of the 80s and 90s like the Terradrome and Technodrome, Mattel reusing a thrown-away jungle playset idea instead of capturing the look of Snake Mountain as seen in the Filmation series a year earlier, limited the overall look and functionality of Skeletor's Fortress. I think most people will agree that Snake Mountain was a tale of two playsets, with the front of the playset looking awesome and the inside of the playset being pretty sparse, aside from the spooky microphone. So factoring all of that in, I think it's safe to say that the original Snake Mountain playset is both a beloved but flawed home for Skeletor and his evil warriors, paling in comparison to the near-perfect Castle Grayskull. While Matty Collector, then later Super 7, looked to fix some of the shortcomings of the original playset with their MOTU Classics version of Snake Mountain, they ended up making it more of a gigantic hunk of plastic, or more specifically, a big purple plastic mountain that, in my opinion, drifted too far away from both the original Snake Mountain and Castle Grayskull's fold-up-and-go roots. So now we have the third major attempt at giving us a proper Snake Mountain, with Mattel defying the odds in the modern action figure space by giving us an affordable, more accurate, and more upgraded version of Snake Mountain on retail shelves. Starting with the packaging, it comes in shorter than the Castle Grayskull playset that we got a few years back. The front art is fairly solid. I love the picture featuring the playset and the action figures and vehicles on the back, as well as the pictures showing the different play features on the sides. But it's hard not to compare this artwork to the great work by Axel Jimenez and Nate Barch for the Castle Grayskull release. Maybe it's just that the Snake Mountain is harder to capture in art form versus the Grayskull? Even though I think the original box art is iconic. Again, it's not bad, but there is a notable difference between the two playsets' box art. There is some assembly required, but I will note that the putting it together process was much smoother and simpler than the Grayskull set, taking me under 10 minutes to get everything together. Part of that is due to a lack of sticker sheet that you have to apply. There are stickers throughout the set, but thankfully, they're already applied. Now, I have seen critiques on the art that was used for the inside of the stickers, and when comparing them to the vintage set, I think those critiques are fair. I believe I saw Pixel Dan mention how they looked like AI had made the art, and it's hard to argue against that. They all look like an impressionist interpretation of the inside sticker art, which is a shame. The only other shortcoming I can put on this set is in the paint department, or lack thereof. While I think they nailed the overall color in plastics used, as well as the gray and black overspray, I see opportunities for a few paint applications, or maybe even sticker applications, that could have made this set soar. I primarily see these opportunities in the snake of Snake Mountain. I, for one, love how they upgraded the snake and gave it articulation in its body and jaw, as well as where it connects to the mountain, allowing the snake to kind of lunge at unsuspecting heroic warriors that are waiting at the gate. But I think it's a shame that they didn't add any paint applications to highlight the patterns of the snake or his eyes, which they did do for the wolf head. But other than that, I absolutely love this playset. While I think the original Snake Mountain is a classic, it always bugged me how it was more of a hill than a mountain, and that the inside didn't even come close to the play features that were inside Castle Grayskull. And I think it's safe to say that this new one solves for all of my original critiques. For starters, they took a page out of the Matty Collector Super 7 book and added a mountain peak over the top of the trapdoor gate. It's simple but effective. The original handcuffs that almost instantly broke whenever you tried to attach a heroic warrior to the front of the mountain are radically improved here with a super soft but still sturdy rubber. The original gray bridge featured the same brittle gray plastic as the handcuffs, and it's infinitely improved here. It now features awesome green plastic for the guardrails. It's one solid piece that locks in both sides of the mountain, and when in place, it really locks in the full Snake Mountain form, so that you can easily move the playset around without it flopping all over the place. That does come with a usability cost, with the bridge not being able to adjust with the playset when you fold the halves together. Now you will have to completely remove the bridge to take your Snake Mountain on the go. Another great addition are the plentiful foot peg holes along the front to sturdily display your evil warriors. I also love that they added these pink vines and tendrils to the cave entrance. It's so much cooler than a boring old hole. Moving to the inside of the playset, I'm happy to say that they knocked it out of the park. Originally, all the inside had were some stickers on the floor, a spindly net, and the microphone. Replacing that net is a movable jail cell that can attach under the trapdoor as well as under the throne room. The throne room takes up the space originally occupied by the microphone. And while I love the original spooky microphone as much as the next person, I think having a throne room for Skeletor is a much cooler play feature. Even though there's no spooky microphone, the movable jaw feature that accompanied that microphone is still present and still works well. You still have a movable wolf head, even though it doesn't serve much of a purpose beyond the decorative. Something I did notice while attaching that wolf head though, is that at the very bottom there's this like little peg on the inside. Originally I thought, oh, that'd be really cool if you could like attach this wolf head to some other figure or beast of some sort. I then realized that the spider attaches to the bottom of the wolf head. And honestly, I think this is the best look for him. He kind of swivels around with the wolf when you turn his head. I think it's pretty cool. A really cool upgrade to the original slime pit area are connectors to attach your figures from the waist up. This extends to a foldable piece of plastic that gives you additional pegs for additional figures. It makes it look like your heroic warriors are sinking into the slime pit to their doom. This feature is enhanced by giving you some monocolored attachments to put on the slime pit pegs as well as another one in Skeletor's throne room. The spider, 2 monsters, and a rock are great accessories for this feature. While I love this slime pit and its attachments, it is a bummer that we didn't have any attachments that would work with the female figures. So that's a bummer that the ladies don't get to get in on the stuck in the slime pit action. Another omission when comparing the original Snake Mountain to the original Castle Grayskull was the weapons rack. That omission is no more, with Skeletor getting his own rack of weapons. While it is a little smaller and simpler than the Grayskull version, it's still great to have here, featuring the green weapons that we saw with those glow-in-the-dark Skeleton Warrior sets. The ladder is improved as well, with different notches to attach the ladder on either side of the set. And how about still keeping its fold up and go playability? Once you take out the bridge, the playset folds up nicely and is ready to be on the move to adventurous new locations. There is one accessory I think this set is missing though, and that is the lack of blood falls that could attach to the center of the playset when it's fully displayed. The lack of a blood falls here from Mattel has led to some entrepreneurs making their own bespoke options available on sites like Etsy. I picked up this version that I think looks really cool, but I hope that Mattel gives us an official version in the future. So the Origins Grayskull has been one of my favorite toy releases of the past decade. How does the Snake Mountain fare? Aside from the box art, I think they exceeded the original Snake Mountain playset by leaps and bounds. Just about every aspect that bummed me out in the original is fixed here, while still being a fun and portable playset at a great cost. I usually judge playsets on their playability, and my oldest son Zach, who loves the Origins Grayskull, immediately claimed the Snake Mountain and has been staging battles between Skeletor and He-Man ever since. So it is no surprise that the MOTU Origins Snake Mountain gets the Geek Dad Life buy rating. If you want to keep watching, check out this video, and until next time, hasta luego, and goodbye.